In the blindingly bright world of superstardom, where relationships often flicker and fade in the camera's flash, some love stories burn with a quiet, steady flame. For nearly 60 years, the love between Dolly Parton and her husband, Carl Dean, has been one of those rare, enduring lights. Their marriage is a fortress of privacy, built to withstand the constant glare of the public eye, a silent partnership that has anchored one of the world's most beloved icons. But as Dolly turns 79, she and her love story face the one challenge that no one can outrun: time. And with that comes the inevitable, unspoken heartbreak that looms over a love this deep and this long. The story of Dolly and Carl is an American epic, almost mythical in its privacy and devotion. She is the queen of country, a global phenomenon, of song and sparkle. He is the steady, unseen presence who's been by her side since the very beginning. The world knows Dolly Parton, the superstar, but Carl is the one who knows Dolly, the person. He's the man she comes home to, the one who sees past the wigs and the larger-than-life persona. Their bond isn't just a footnote in her career, it's the foundation of her entire world. To truly understand the depth of their connection and the heartbreaking reality of what the future must one day hold, we have to go back to where it all began. For almost 6 decades, their love story has been Nashville's greatest enigma and its most cherished legend. A quiet private man and a global superstar, their bond started with a chance encounter and has survived every imaginable pressure. But at 79, Dolly Parton faces the one heartbreaking truth that no rhinestone can outshine. Even the greatest love stories have a final chapter. The quiet tragedy hanging over Dolly isn't a scandal or a secret. It's the profound sadness of knowing that a lifetime together is never truly long enough. To understand the depth of this love and the chasm that will one day be left behind, we have to go back to the beginning. Back to a laundromat in Nashville where a young woman with big dreams met a handsome man in a pickup truck, sparking one of the most enduring love stories in music history. From the very beginning, Dolly and Carl made a pact. She would chase the spotlight and he would hold down the fort far away from it. The news of their enduring marriage comes not from splashy magazine covers, but from the quiet, dignified way they've lived their lives. While Dolly was conquering the world, Carl was in Nashville, running a successful asphalt paving business. Their arrangement has been a source of endless fascination. How could a woman so public be married to a man so private? For decades, Carl Dean has been a figure of immense curiosity, the ultimate mystery man at the center of Dolly's whirlwind life. Fans know the stories by heart: how he's only seen her perform on stage once, how he prefers a fishing boat to a red carpet, and how his love is the bedrock on which she built her empire. His near-total absence from the public eye isn't a gimmick. It's essential to who he is, and in turn, essential to their marriage. It has made their bond seem all the more sacred. He wasn't part of the brand. He was the heart of her life. This deliberate separation of worlds is their secret sauce. Dolly has joked that the reason their marriage has lasted so long is because she stays gone. But beneath the laughter is a profound truth. Their time apart allows them to be whole individuals, making their time together all the more precious. He isn't interested in the fame, he's interested in her. As Dolly famously recalled, Carl once told her, "I married Dolly, not Dolly Parton." In a world that constantly tried to claim a piece of her, he was the one place that was entirely and only hers. To really get the magnitude of their bond, you have to rewind to 1964. A fresh-faced Dolly Rebecca Parton, just 18 years old, had just arrived in Nashville from the mountains of East Tennessee. As the story goes, she had a suitcase full of songs and a bag of dirty laundry. Her first stop in Music City wasn't a record label but the wishy-washy laundromat. She was standing outside when a man named Carl Dean, then 21, cruised by in his white pickup truck. He hollered at her, warning her that she was going to get a sunburn. Dolly, never one to be shy, waved back. He pulled over and the two struck up a conversation. She would later recall what made him so different. "I was surprised and delighted that while he talked to me, he looked at my face, a rare thing for me," she wrote. He seemed to be genuinely interested in finding out who I was and what I was about. In a world that would soon become obsessed with her image, Carl saw her from the very first minute. For Carl, it was even more immediate. "My first thought was, I'm going to marry that girl," he said in a rare public reflection. "My second thought was, Lord, she's good looking." And that was the day my life began. Despite having just left a couple of boyfriends back home, Dolly couldn't deny the connection. On their first real date, he didn't try to impress her with anything fancy. He drove her straight to his parents' house to meet his mother, a clear sign of his intentions. It was a courtship built not on glamour, but on something real. On her very first day in Nashville, seeking to become Dolly Parton the star, she met Carl Dean, the man who would make sure she never lost Dolly Parton the person. As Dolly's career started heating up, so did her romance with Carl. After 2 years of dating, they knew they wanted to be married. But the very people building her career saw a husband as a problem. Her record label, Monument Records, had invested in launching a young, beautiful, and single Dolly Parton. Her manager, Fred Foster, flat out asked her not to get married, worried it would hurt her image. Dolly was caught in a tough spot. She didn't want to upset the people helping her achieve her lifelong dream. But putting her love for Carl on a corporate schedule just wasn't an option. As she put it, "I was so in love with Carl I couldn't see straight. She simply wasn't going to wait. I thought, I ain't waiting." So they hatched a secret plan. On May 30th, 1966, Dolly, 20, and Carl, 23, drove across the state line to Ringgold, Georgia, so the Tennessee papers wouldn't pick up the story. They found a small Baptist church where the only witnesses were Dolly's mother, A.V. Lee, the preacher, and his wife. Dolly's mom had made her a simple white dress and a little bouquet. It wasn't a lavish celebrity wedding. It was an intimate, defiant act of love. This secret ceremony set the tone for their entire life together. It was a powerful declaration that their partnership came first. Before the fame, before the fortune, and before the demands of an industry that wanted to shape her, there was Carl. Their secret wedding wasn't just a romantic story. It was the first brick laid in the private fortress that would protect their love for the next 6 decades. To the world, Carl Dean is an enigma. To Dolly Parton, he's everything. While she was building an empire on stage, Carl was running his paving business and building a life for them at home. He was a man of the earth, a total contrast to the glitz of her world, and Dolly has always said that's the secret. "They say that opposites attract, and it's true," she explained. "We're completely opposite, but that's what makes it fun." His aversion to the spotlight is legendary. Early on, she begged him to go with her to a BMI Awards dinner where she was getting a big award. He reluctantly went, tux and all, but on the car ride home he turned to her and said, "Dolly, I want you to have everything you want, and I'm happy for you, but don't you ever ask me to go to another one of them." Dang things again, and she never did. He tried her world, decided it wasn't for him, and she respected that for the rest of their lives. He wasn't threatened by her stardom or her flirtatious nature because he was deeply secure in their bond. But his detachment from her career never meant a lack of support. In fact, he was the inspiration for one of her greatest hits. His harmless flirtation with a red-headed bank teller became the spark for the iconic song Jolene. Dolly remembered it as a running joke between them. "He just loved going to the bank because she paid him so much attention," she said with a laugh. He was a man with a great and warped sense of humor, which Dolly credits as a key ingredient to their longevity. They take road trips in their RV, exploring the back roads of Tennessee, perfectly happy in their own little world. Carl Dean is the man who kept Dolly Parton real. In a life that became increasingly surreal, he was her anchor, her safe harbor, and her connection to the ground. A marriage that lasts nearly 60 years isn't a fantasy. It's a testament to resilience and forgiveness. Dolly and Carl's journey was no exception. While their commitment was absolute, their life together faced storms that would have shattered most couples. The tabloids were relentless, constantly speculating about their unusual marriage and inventing affairs. Yet Carl's quiet confidence in their bond made him immune to the gossip. He's very secure within himself. He's never been jealous, Dolly once said. The biggest challenges, however, often came from within. In the early 1980s, Dolly went through a period of profound personal crisis. She was dealing with serious health issues that led to a partial hysterectomy, ending her dream of having biological children. The loss was immense and plunged her into a deep depression, a time so dark she admitted to even contemplating suicide. It was also during this turbulent period that she confessed to having an affair of the heart, an emotional connection that left her with a broken heart and tested their marriage. But it didn't break. Their foundation, built on respect, humor, and a deep understanding of one another, held strong. They gave each other the space to be individuals. "He's independent. So am I," she once said. "He likes staying home. I like staying gone." This unique balance was their formula. They knew what they had was irreplaceable. As Dolly put it, they weren't afraid one would run off with someone else, because we couldn't find in nobody else what we found in each other. Their love wasn't perfect, but it was real, tested by fame and heartbreak, and each time, it emerged stronger. How does a woman who communicates her deepest feelings through music pay tribute to a love that is, for the most part, intensely private? She does it on her own terms, weaving the story of her heart into the fabric of her art. While the world may not know Carl Dean, they know the love he inspired, because it lives forever in Dolly's songs. The most famous example, of course, is Jolene, a masterful story of jealousy and insecurity born from a real-life moment with Carl. But the threads of their love run through her entire catalog. Songs like From Here to the Moon and Back are direct, tender declarations of her lifelong devotion. She wrote it for the movie Joyful Noise, but its lyrics, From Here to the Moon and Back, who else in this world will love you like that, feel like a direct message to him. Even her most iconic song, I Will Always Love You, though famously written for her professional split with Porter Wagoner, carries the weight of a woman who understands profound, lasting love. She's turned her private heartaches and deepest joys into universal anthems. Through her music, Dolly has shared the essence of her love for Carl with the world, immortalizing their private bond in public works of art. It's her way of telling the world what he truly means to her, beyond the mystery and the curiosity. The story of Dolly Parton and Carl Dean is more than just a celebrity romance. It's a masterclass in partnership. For nearly 60 years, they built a life that defied every rule in the celebrity handbook. He was her reclusive rock. She was his global whirlwind. He kept her grounded, and she gave him a lifetime of stories. Theirs is a love story built on laughter, deep respect, and the radical freedom to be themselves. The ultimate tragedy of a love story this epic isn't a scandal or a secret. It's the simple, heartbreaking fact that it must one day end. At 79, Dolly faces the poignant reality of time, a reality that haunts anyone who has ever loved so deeply. Her decision over the years to fiercely protect their privacy speaks volumes about where her heart has always been. With him, the rhinestones glitter under the stage lights, but the true jewel of her life has always been Carl. And as she navigates the future, one thing is certain: the love they built will live on, in the notes of her most heartfelt songs, and in the legacy of a love story that will truly always be loved.